You're welcome back to Business Live. And board chairman of the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company has resigned from office over the collapse of Sovereign Bank. And also coming up, trade talks between the U.S. and China have ended with little progress. We have the details in our summaries next.
Board chairman of the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company, BOST, has resigned from office over the collapse of Sovereign Bank, one of the 5 banks the Bank of Ghana shut down recently over breach of banking regulations. Kwame Champon-Che resigned shortly before the revocation of operating license by the central bank. Offshore Cape 3 Point has started delivery of gas from the Sankofa field to GNPC, marking the beginning of stable supplies of cost-effective and environmentally friendly domestic fuel for Ghana's power sector. A report by Business and Financial Times said Ghana will benefit significantly from GNPC's carried and participating interest in the project. Ghana's royalty share of oil and gas production and taxes paid by Vitol and Eni. After a successful mission to Aberdeen, Scotland in June, the Petroleum Commission has set its eyes on one of the world's largest exporter of oil, Norway. The Petroleum Commission is leading a delegation of about 40 Ghanaian companies to Stavanger, Norway's oil capital, to explore business opportunities in the upstream petroleum sector. The delegation will be taking part in the 2018 Offshore Northern Seas Conference, which opens from 27th to 30th August 2018. The Offshore Northern Seas Conference takes place every second year in Stavanger, Norway. Founded in 1974, it has developed into a global energy meeting place, connecting international suppliers, operating companies and decision makers. American agrochemical company Monsanto is facing a surge in lawsuits that may cost its new owners, Bayer, billions in damages. Monsanto manufactures glyphosate-based weed killers, which some believe have the potential to cause cancer. Last month, it lost a $289 million court case that alleged its products, Roundup and Ranger Pro, had led to a Californian man's terminal cancer. Bayer said the number of outstanding cases had risen from 5,200 to 8,000. Trade talks between the U.S. and China have ended with little progress in a week that has seen the trade war between the two countries heat up. A White House statement said 2 days of talk had covered how to achieve fairness, balance and reciprocity in the economic relationship. However, there was no indication of any major breakthrough. On Thursday, the U.S. imposed a second wave of tariffs on Chinese goods worth $16 billion.
That's it for our summaries tonight, and let's do our first stories. And indigenous oil exploration firm Springfield is set to commence commercial drilling on the country's waters next year. The company obtained a license in 2010 as a bulk oil distribution company from Ghana's National Petroleum Authority. Now speaking to JoyNews Chief Executive of the Springfield Group, Kevin Autry, says top on the company's mission is to produce energy for the country.
The indigenous oil exploration firm Springfield obtained a license in 2010 as a bulk distribution company from Ghana's National Petroleum Authority (NPA) for the procurement, sale and distribution of petroleum products to oil marketing companies and refineries. However, the company is also going into the upstream sector for production of oil and gas. Chief Executive of the Springfield Group, Kevin Autry, says all is set for exploration of hydrocarbons next year.
We are on our program. We believe that next year, God willing, we are going to be drilling, and very soon after that, we are doing all preparations to try and come into production as soon as technically possible.
So talking about preparations, have you secured all the approvals from government?
Yes, I mean, as of now, we have all the approvals we need at the stage that we are. What we are doing, we believe, simply is going to put smiles on people's faces. And why do I say that? We are looking at bringing on gas and hydrocarbon. And gas is what enables us to be able to steady at night. It enables our industries to be able to produce what they need to produce. So this government agenda of industrialization of Ghana and of Africa as a continent can be enhanced by what we are doing by bringing the energy resources that is needed.
The Springfield boss spoke to Joy Business on the sidelines of a nation-building entrepreneurial forum organized at the University of Ghana Business School. Chief Operations Officer of Springfield, Gina Malkani, on her part says it's about time Ghanaians took charge of their businesses.
It's only natural. We don't have the expertise. We don't have the technical knowledge or the know-how to develop industries. So we've been used to foreign companies coming in and doing it for us on our behalf. But it's about time foreign companies teach us. We learn from it and we start doing it ourselves because it is our economy. Ghana is our country.
The Springfield Nation Building Entrepreneurial Forum was organized on the theme Unearthing and Enhancing the Innate Potential of Ghanaian Youth for Business Creation and National Development. Bismarck Ausa, Joy Business.
The Petroleum Commission says it has prioritized emerging companies and startups as it leads a delegation to Norway for a trade mission. Daokwa has the rest of the story.
After a successful mission to Aberdeen, Scotland in June, the Petroleum Commission has set its eyes on one of the world's largest exporters of oil, Norway. The Petroleum Commission is leading a delegation of about 40 Ghanaian companies, most of them emerging companies, to Stavanger, Norway's oil capital, to explore business opportunities in the upstream petroleum sector. As part of its mandate, the Petroleum Commission promotes investments in the upstream industry and supports local participants to take up active roles in the sector. Kweku Boateng is Director of Special Services at the Petroleum Commission.
Many of them have not been so successful in winning contracts because of limited capability and lack of finances. These problems could somehow be solved when these companies form partnership with more resource, well-developed foreign partners. That will bring their technology and financial resources to support these companies. And we expect that once the Ghanaian companies have this access to this foreign companies through this trade mission, they will be able to develop or form partnership, strategic alliances, or joint ventureship.
The Ghana mission would have the opportunity to address investors from all over the world at the Ghana International Market Session at the 2018 Offshore Northern Seas Conference, which opens from the 27th to the 30th of August 2018. Mr. Boateng tells Joy Business they would be interested in courting especially Norwegian investors.
We expect that a lot of Norwegian service companies will also follow ECA to Ghana and provide various services for this company. So we want to take advantage of this trend by giving opportunity to Ghanaian companies to meet their Norwegian counterparts before they even take the decision to come. So that they will be able to forge this strategic partnership alliances with these companies when they come to Ghana.
In June this year, Aker Energy Ghana, a subsidiary of Aker Energy, a Norwegian holding company, got approval from government to take up Hess Ghana's stake in the deepwater Tanokip 3 Points block.
Now, some financial houses and savings and loans companies have started closing down subsidiaries due to panic withdrawals that have hit them. The move Joy Business understands is to prevent the collapse of these companies. There's more in the following report.
Staff with the savings and loans company in question have already received communication from their bosses about the planned restructuring exercise. This will result in a subsidiary of that company being closed down completely. The firm, which can be described as a big player in the industry, is also looking at reviewing salaries of its workers in the group. All these are meant to prevent the company from going down. We also understand that some other finance houses are also going through a similar challenge, threatening their operations. funds. According to these firms, their situation has been compounded by the fact that funds borrowed are also not being paid, with the panic withdrawals worsening their situation. The development is not only limited to savings and loans companies, but microfinance and financial houses. Joy Business understands that some of these are running into millions of cedis. But the question is, are all these withdrawals going to foreign banks, or are they going somewhere else?
Chief Executive of Santino Meats and Sausages, Kwabena Efa Intim, is calling on financial services to develop a new portfolio to focus on the growth of agriculture in the country. This, according to him, will help grow the sector, which employs about 80% of the country's workforce.
Provision of financial support for the agriculture sector has always been low, despite many interventions to attract commercial banks to develop programs for farmers. At the opening of a newly established retail shop for farmers, Chief Executive of Santino Meat and Sausage, who is also a partner of the farmers market, Kwabena Efa Intim, believes there is a need for banks to retool their portfolios to support the sector.
They are not helping us. We are hoping that they can retool and have some of their officers learn about agribusiness so that they can have serious portfolios in agribusiness. The retooling of the financial sector should be directed towards agribusiness a little bit more.
You think they are lost in that way?
I think so, honestly. Look at the GDP on agriculture. If you go to many of these banks and you ask them, where is your agribusiness desk? They don't have one. But now some of them are getting cognizant of the fact that we need to grow agribusiness. Ghana, 85% agriculture. Most of our businesses should be agri-based. And so we are hoping that this government and the retooling of the financial sector will look at agribusiness seriously.
The farmers market is a retail store that provides ready platforms for farmers to trade their produce in the domestic market. Abeku White is chief executive of Farmers Market.
A retail place for farmers. But what we realized was that to keep the standard and the environment clean, it will be difficult for them to maintain that standard. And Farmers Market, as we speak, is a brand. So we had no option than to work with the farmers, and we take care of the retail aspect of it.
So far, how many farmers are you getting? Do you get your supplies from so far?
I have lost count. At a point, I had well over 3,000 outgrowers, but they were producing for me for the export market. But because of the ban we went through, I stopped engaging them. But now that the ban has been lifted, I've actually started engaging them.
The East Legon branch is the 5th shop since the company began operations.
You're still watching Business Live. We will return after these commercials. You're welcome back to Business Life, and let's do our main story for tonight. And Uber drivers in the country are threatening a strike action due to what they term as unfair treatment by the company. They have therefore given Uber 1 week to adjust fares and also review their promotion packages. Now, this is not the first time that they have made such pronouncement, but some drivers have argued that the constant increases in fuel prices is having a toll on their operations. Let's now go over to the phone to speak to Emmanuel Ejaku, actually, who is an Uber driver, to delve more into this issue. Emmanuel, thanks so much for joining us on Business Live.
Thank you.
Emmanuel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
All right, thanks so much. And first of all, tell us how the Uber business is faring now.
Well, it used to be a creative business, but now it's not about, because there are so many policies that those people have put in place to make our lives uncomfortable, to make live your life comfortably. That is how I'm going to find it.
Emmanuel?
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges you're facing currently with regards to your operations?
Right now, there's still the introduction of the discount, and then there's a new policy which was launched just last week, as in with a service pay. You can pay via mobile money every week. If you do not pay, you do not get access to workshops or to go online.
Emmanuel?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, you are quite faint, but if you can speak up a little for me, that would be great.
Yes, I'm saying that just last week they introduced a service system whereby you can pay your service charge via mobile money.
Okay.
That is every week. Okay. And then if you fail to do so, you would...
Well, I'm having difficulties hearing. Yeah, but if I get you right, you said they introduced a new service charge through mobile money. Well, we've lost Emmanuel. We'll try and then get back to him on the phone. But the development is that Uber drivers in the country are threatening an action, that's a strike action due to what they term as unfair treatment by the company. They have therefore given Uber 1 week to adjust fares and also review its promotion packages. Now, it's not actually the first time that Uber drivers are making such pronouncements, but they've argued also that constant increases in fuel prices is having a toll on their operations. And we've been speaking to Emmanuel Ejaku, who is speaking to us about the developments and how that is affecting their operations. We will try and then get back to him and see whether we can talk more on the situation. But now let's go for our interview of the day. And in our interview of the day, Philip Namfuri has been engaging an economist with Data Bank on the Ghana's GDP sector.
We expect ultimately that will end this year on a growth rate of around 7% thereabout, and then it could even get better in 2018, driven largely by 2019, driven largely by the oil sector and then some growth from the agricultural sector, really.
Okay, but is that really a good thing? Should our growth be hinged on the oil sector? Looking at sometimes what people perceive as volatilities on international markets. Something happens, price goes up, goes down. Should Ghana's growth be hinged on the oil sector? Because I see that when they bring out the estimates, there's always a wide gap between non-oil growth and oil growth. What should we do to avoid a problem where our growth numbers may stall or will stall when the oil sector falls?
Well, that's a big one. Our economy, we know, is dominantly non-oil, and so we all expect that the growth should be coming from the sector most people are involved. It should be more engaging. It should be more inclusive. It appears that is not the case now, and you can understand if there are weaknesses in the economy reflective in the issues in the banking sector and in how industry, private sector is playing a role. Once they take center stage and they are entrenched, we should expect confidence to return and the overall macroeconomy perform. The non-oil sector of the economy also return to some stable growth. The oil sector is good. The growth from there will also have linkages to the economy, to the oil sector, the electricity sector. It has linkages to the agri sector, education, health, because there are expenditures on the budget that are financed by revenue from the oil sector. So we expect that in the interim, the growth or the boom we're seeing in the oil sector will impact indirectly the non-oil sector. But once the reforms are done and over, I think growth in the non-oil sector should return back to the normal levels that we're seeing.
So that was Philip Namfuri engaging an economist with Data Bank Courage Boti on Ghana's GDP growth rate. And that is how we end business for the week with me, Sandra. And we'll be back next week, Monday, for more business. Have a great weekend. See you.